You see that glow, that high glow.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Double Shot Sports, where
predictions are always 90 proof.
that's right. It's been a couple weeks since we made a video. To be honest, it's been really cold, and the garage has been about frozen over. I don't know if Illinois turned into
That's what this is for.
Antarctica, but we got some good old-fashioned George Dickel here keeping us warm. But no, on a serious note, let's talk about that Super Bowl in the NFL that happened last weekend. You had the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs going at it. This was split. I saw a lot of people talking on a lot of different shows, talking about Fox and NBC, ESPN. It was really 50-50 from what I saw. You had a lot of people taking the Niners, a lot of people taking the Chiefs. If you go back to our last video from a couple weeks ago, you'll see that I unfortunately chose San Francisco to win that game. I believe you took Kansas City.
Andy Reid.
It was looking like the Niners actually had it in the bag too. With like 8 minutes left, they had a 10-point lead going into the midway through the fourth quarter, and the Chiefs just scored 21 unanswered points. The Niners defense fell apart. Patrick Mahomes finally came to life. Their running back Damian Williams came to life. Sammy Watkins, and you could just see Andy Reid as the second half progressed. He just got so comfortable, and we saw what he had been doing the entire regular season. But what did you see from Kansas City really in the first half that didn't really go so much their way, but then they were able to turn around in the second?
Well, I mean, what I saw was that they kind of picked them apart a little bit, picked that defense apart. They looked a little better after half, but I think Andy had to change some things around again. I think he went to his coaches there after the third quarter and said, we got to do something different. And whatever they did took them a little while to get going, but it was like putting coal in the old steam engine. And once they got rolling, that and their quarterback took a couple of shots. It isn't that they played bad. It's just the Chiefs have been doing that all through the playoffs. Down by, down after half, down after the first quarter, down, and then having to just come screaming back.
Yep.
And they just did it all the way through the playoffs.
We saw that in the divisional round. We saw it in the championship game.
Is there a rhyme or reason for it? I don't know, but they did it. They didn't do it really during the year, but during the playoffs, they got down, and then Mahomes just found a way, and then people, they say, well, was it a touchdown? It was a touchdown. Okay, when they look at it in slow-mo, it was a touchdown, and that kind of sealed.
And this is in regards to Damian Williams' touchdown to where the ball allegedly crossed the plane of the goal line.
As long as the tip of that football, by the time his foot steps out of bounds, it's a touchdown.
And it's really hard, especially in a game like the Super Bowl, in one of those situations. If you're the official and it's that close, you can't overturn that. Once the call is made on the field,
I think he was looking more if he got the football around the pylon than where his foot was at, and I think that's why that back judge was probably. They're gonna look at it anyway. Any scoring, they're gonna look at it.
Well, and here's the thing, like you said, it was kind of the turning point of the game because that was their second touchdown to extend the lead, and then you have to think, does that change the game plan if the Niners are able to hold them to 3 points in the red zone?
Well, and then they talk about the catch, the catch, no catch. He pushed off.
Yeah.
The tight end pushed off. You can see it doesn't matter how hard you push off, but when you extend that arm backwards and push the cornerback back like that, or the linebacker, I think it was a corner or safety. But when you do that, the officials automatically, it's going to be a penalty. So they say that kind of changed the momentum. I think Kansas City was coming regardless. So
I think we also have to look at the crew that was officiating the game. This was the same crew that officiated the Rams-Saints game in the championship in the NFC last year.
I didn't think but the calls were correct.
Yeah, no. I'm saying going into it, I think people were skeptical because of the blatant no pass interference call from the last playoffs.
Well, I also think Andy Reid had that lady luck on his shoulder too, because he'd been there, he'd been trying to get there, he'd been trying to win a Super Bowl. It finally happened for the guy. If I was him, he's been coaching so long, that's enough for me. I'll go out with a Super Bowl. Where you go, Andy?
Yeah, congratulations to Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, the youngest player in NFL history to win season MVP and Super Bowl MVP in the same year.
How about that?
His stats, just in case anyone was wondering, for the game, threw 42 passes, completing 26 of them for 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which one was not really his fault, but the one that he did throw, boy, we saw that and we were both shaking our heads. What are you doing, Patty?
Where did you throw that?
Anyway, he ended up coming away with the win. Him and Kansas City. Really happy for them. Happy for the city. I always love it when small towns and small market teams are able to come out on top of the entire league. I think that really
they do a
sends
lot for the
message.
town, a lot for charity,
Yeah.
a lot for the hospitals. I mean, they're always busy. That's kind of part of being a Kansas City Chief is taking care of that town, that city. And the Royals are that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm not a KC fan or a Royals fan. But, hey, they do a really nice job with that. And kudos to them and kudos to their town.
I think the one question that not only myself but a lot of other people and maybe you guys watching the video have is what is the situation for Jimmy Garoppolo moving forward? Because we knew a couple years ago he had that ACL tear coming back. He looked good throughout most of the regular season, but in the playoffs, Shanahan did not call a lot of passing plays for him. We saw it in Minnesota where they ran the ball, it seemed 75% of the game. We saw it again.
It's just bad luck for him. Not Garoppolo. I like Garoppolo from Eastern. But their coach, Atlanta
Shanahan,
Falcons.
yeah.
I mean, he's known to blow big leads, so it's,
Well, my buddy Chris, if you're watching, huge Atlanta Falcons fan, he knows all about Kyle Shanahan, and this is the second time now that he's had a double-digit lead in the Super Bowl and has watched it go bye-bye. So it's going to be interesting, definitely, to see how San Francisco handles this and bounces back next year. We know George Kittle has been very vocal in saying that he is ready for a redemption tour in the NFC. It's going to be a really tough schedule next year for the Niners.
I think the Niners did get a little complacent. They thought they had the game in the bag just from the pictures and the
Expressions on their faces, yeah.
And history, and a lot of kids today don't look back at the history. I know you do, but when the Redskins were good in the 80s, they would keep their foot on the gas. If they were good and their game was going good, the gas pedal was down and they never let off of it. They just kept coming at you. The 49ers were the same way. The Cowboys in the early 90s were the same way. I mean, the Baltimore defense in the early 2000s, when they would relentlessly come after it. And if you notice, the defense kind of played off a little bit, especially when they got that first touchdown. Then, kind of played off a little bit. You got to keep the gas on. I mean,
no, I agree.
And I don't know and they got a really good defensive coach. It's in the player's head. I mean, they got it. The Kansas City Chiefs, for whatever reason, got in their head, and they come back and won that football game. And
well, I was going to say,
awesome.
it comes back to Kyle Shanahan, I think, like you said, having that mentality, because we know that the mentality of the head coach
well, you're saying he got
down
conservative.
on the players.
I agree. I think that the play calls, the biggest thing they did was the run stopped.
Yeah.
They stopped the run. Now he's got to throw it, and then he was under pressure, okay? And that kind of sealed their fate. Once the defense started coming in, they wore out the offensive line, and they did a really good. I mean, kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. We know the parade was on Monday. This video should be coming out on a Thursday. Patrick Mahomes was there catching beers out of the sky, grabbing them down and chugging them like Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Stone Cold Patty Mahomes enjoying Monday. Everyone else, go ahead and enjoy the parade. If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, enjoy the summer. Get ready for next season. We're going to go ahead and switch gears.
Lenny Dawson will be proud. 50 years it took.
I think it all started with Hank Stram.
Hank Stram.
Love that guy. Rest in peace. But let's go ahead and move on here. We're going to talk about some basketball. All-Star break is approaching here pretty quickly next weekend. We want to go ahead and take the time before we go ahead and get into the games. We go ahead and talk about the different contests because we know that everyone likes to talk about the All-Star game and the Rising Stars game and stuff like that. We don't really care about that.
Not a big All-Star game.
We know what the All-Star game has become over the past decade or so, and they just kind of show up and it's really turning the kind of.
Was it like 160 to
180 or something?
Whatever.
But it's kind of turned into a Harlem Globetrotter event instead of a real game. And it's almost disappointing to people like me that have been following basketball for a while, and especially you who grew up with the games in the 80s and 90s where they took it very seriously.
Yeah, the East West game was. I mean, they played to win it. It wasn't just out there just for pictures and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, they had fun with it, but they still wanted to win. Their East team wanted to beat or vice versa.
Exactly.
So
I thought we'd go ahead and talk about not so much lesser known events that are happening, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the skills challenge, the 3-point competition, and the dunk contest, and who we personally think would come out on top in such a contest next weekend. So let's go ahead and start off with the skills challenge. There were 8 participants. One of them was Derrick Rose, who has since dropped out, I believe, due to injury. It's it's not known. I know
Derrick Rose injured.
How ironic, right?
Right.
But it's unknown at this time who will replace him in the skills challenge. But right now, the other 7 contestants, you have Patrick Beverley from the Los Angeles Clippers, Domantas Sabonis from the Indiana Pacers, Chris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks, Jason Tatum from the Boston Celtics, Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat, Spencer Dinwiddie from the Brooklyn Nets, and my guy, Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors, all competing in the skills challenge. For those of you that don't know, this is an 8-man bracket challenge. You have 4 on one side, 4 on the other, and they participate in dribbling drills, passing drills, layups, 3-pointers, all that stuff. And whoever can complete all the drills the fastest obviously moves on. Whoever can do that 3 consecutive times, beating their opponent, comes out as the winner.
No Van Fleet.
No, Freddie's not participating.
Man, I'd have taken Freddie, but I'll take Siakam.
You're going to take Siakam in this one?
Sure.
I was looking at him. I would love to see him hoist up that trophy. One that's been really interesting is Spencer Dinwiddie, because he won it back in 2017. He's competing again. I would keep my eye on him. I also think that Chris Middleton is a guy that kind of does everything. I think he could be
Chris, all right.
kind of a surprise.
He's good. He's an all-around player. He's good.
But I think
I think
I'm going to lean towards Pascal too. Obviously, there's a little bit of bias going on
Hey,
there.
man, he's a 110% player. I mean, he's giving it us all out there.
Yep.
And he'll do that in the games, too.
Yeah, he does it every single time he steps
Or
on
the
court.
challenge, or whatever.
It doesn't matter if it's on the floor during a real game or obviously a friendly competition like this. But that's our pick for the skills competition. We're both taking Pascal Siakam of the Raptors.
Is Kevin Love in it?
No, Kevin's not in the
Damn!
challenge. Let us know who you guys are taking in the comments below in the 2020 NBA skills competition.
Just saying, if Kevin Love was in, I would have took him.
I'm sure you would have. His biggest fan right here. Kevin Love, if you're watching, this is your number 1. Let's go ahead and move on to the 3-point contest. There's 8 guys. All right, I'll just go through the list and then we'll discuss it. Number 1, Devontae Graham, who's having a breakout season for the Hornets.
Whatever.
Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls.
No.
Which I can't believe he's not doing the dunk contest this year. Duncan Robinson, rookie from the Miami Heat. Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. Buddy Hield from the Sacramento Kings. Davis Bertans from the Washington Wizards, former Spur, you should know. Joe Harris of the Brooklyn Nets. And Damian Lillard from the Portland Trailblazers.
Baby Lillard.
About to say, I think I kind of knew from the beginning who...
When you start draining him from half court, I'd be a little bit afraid if I was in the contest, because Lillard's been hoisting up almost 40-footers.
And he's shooting over 40%. I think 43, 44% over the last couple weeks from 3 as well.
What was it? A few games ago, he shot from, like, he was still touching the...
He was on the logo.
He was on the logo.
Yeah.
Shot nothing but net. I mean, it's like...
The Rockets game that we watched a couple weeks ago, that's what it was from.
It was just awesome. It was like, did he really just shoot that?
He's been on a tear. I tell you what, I said this too on my Facebook page. For anyone that's friends with me on there, you can go back and quote me on this. I said that if the Blazers were healthy and he had more help, there's no doubt that Damian Lillard would be MVP. You take Lillard off the Blazers, that team doesn't win.
Well, it's going to take more than a relic.
I'm telling you.
He's got a relic helping him, but that's...
I'm telling you. But
what is it?
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, he needs to.
Hey, he's having an okay year. I think he's having an okay
coach
year.
Or retire.
Coach or retire.
I mean, he's clanging everything.
Hey, all I'm
sorry,
saying
Carmelo, but you're done. You should have just retired.
He won Player of the Week back in, I think, December. But okay, so who are you taking? I'm guessing Lillard.
I'm taking Lillard.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Joe Harris won it last year. I was kind of between him and Dame. This was kind of tough for me. There's a lot of guys here that I like. I think Davies Bertans.
They need
Buddy
some
Hield.
bigger names in there.
Well,
To me, there needs to be bigger names in there.
This is another thing
You
that
don't tell me Van Fleet ain't in the 3-point competition?
Luka is injured right now. You think that he might participate, but he's doing the All-Star game and the Rising Stars Challenge.
I'm just saying, some of these other guys are like, it's like peanuts. You don't even know who they are.
James Harden has never competed in a 3-point contest. Steph Curry's hurt. Klay Thompson
Why is James
hurt.
Harden not in? It's for the fans.
We don't know.
Really, I mean,
He's never participated. James Harden's never participated in a 3-point contest.
yeah, we're going to send, from the Bucks, we're going to send our 10th man to do the 3-point comp. I mean, people want to see star players doing these things. Like when
I
Bird
agree.
used to do, you know,
I agree.
Ray Allen, Bird, I mean, those guys, I mean, that's who they wanted to see shooting threes. They didn't want to see, you know, whoever.
You know who they should-
That's like putting Boban. I'd love to see him, but he's not going to do the 3-point competition.
You know who I would have loved to seen after, because we went on Monday, we went to the Dallas Mavericks Indiana Pacers game in Indianapolis.
Oh.
When Kristaps Porzingis had like 8 3-pointers. That's who they should have invited for the 3-point contest.
They're not going to put him in for defense. That's for sure. He plays terrible defense. I'm sorry, Porzingis, but
Well, and keep in
your
mind,
defense sucks. Terrible.
this was my dad's first time seeing Porzingis live in action, and he decided to not play one lick of defense in that game.
That guy ate him alive, and he didn't even care. I mean, he just sauntered down and hit another 3. He didn't. Hey, here's a 2. I'm going to go down and hit a 3.
The only thing he was concerned with was scoring 38 points in that game, but
It should have. They really. I mean, it was. He probably should have had about 43 or 45. They kind of. One time was an offensive foul, and another time was a foul, and they looked at it and called it back. But
well, he had some help from Tim Hardaway Jr., who had 26 points, I
Yeah.
think. So he had a really good game too.
oh, he did good. Got a technical from a female official.
And she handed out that one, and then she also called 4 straight fouls on Miles
Easy.
Turner.
She needs to slow down a little bit. She gets a little
4 straight fouls.
crazy
I was
on the foul.
really blown away there, but you know, different refs call it different ways. That's sometimes.
Anyway,
Let's go ahead and move on.
Kevin
to-
Love for 3-point company.
He's done it before.
I know, he
He's
should have done it
He
again.
won't do it this
I would have
season.
watched.
He's actually won the event. I believe it was back in 2012, 2013. I can't remember, something like that.
Dropping threes.
Let's go ahead. Let's move on to the last competition here, the dunk contest, which has really gone downhill since 2016. Let's go ahead, run through the candidates here. My guy, Dwight Howard, is participating. I know that you don't really like Dwight, but I
Dwight Howard, the relic.
I still like
The
him.
relic. Yeah, he's going to win the dunk competition.
The other 3 contestants, Derek Jones Jr. from the Miami Heat. He's one of the most athletic guys, but no one really knows who he is unless you're a Miami Heat fan. Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. We know he lost those 2 dunk contests to Zach LaVine in 2016 and 2017. And then the last guy, speaking of the Bucks' 10th man, he's not really the 10th man, but Pat Connaughton will be the last participant.
Was there just 4?
Yeah, just 4 guys. He's
Oh, my.
He's pretty athletic.
Is
but-
Spud Webb coming back for it?
Spud Webb, I swear, I saw him dunk 2 years ago in a YouTube video. The guy's 50 years old. He can still dunk. How about that?
Dominique Wilkins? No.
Yeah, I'm sure Nick will come in off, out of the crowd and
I'm just saying.
put one down.
Those guys,
I mean, one of them has to win. That's the thing. So
I'm sure they're athletic in that, but people want to see all-stars do this stuff.
this is a question I have.
They don't want to see, and I got nothing against guys trying to come up through, from the, being on the bench 9th or 10th and then trying to get a starting spot and all that. But when you do the All-Star break, you want to see
The All-Stars.
the All-Stars doing these events. You don't want to see, here's Jerry, Bob, whoever. Nobody know. Yeah, I got his card. Big deal.
I mean, I understand completely. Everyone wants to see the stars. A question I've had for a long time is, why has LeBron James never competed in anything besides the All-Star game? That blows my mind. For as popular as he is throughout the league, why has he never
Because
done
they don't have enough tissue paper for when he loses. He's a crybaby.
But tell me, I swear that's what it has to be. He's afraid of losing one
I
of these
had the
competitions.
best dunk. I
He-
shot the most threes.
He has to be afraid of one of these competitions. That's the only thing that I can think of, which is why.
If they never mention LeBron again, it will not hurt my feelings. It's God's honest truth. I just wish he'd leave basketball.
Let's
What's your hey? Put it in the comments. How many LeBron people are out there? Not many. I don't think.
John King. I'll see your name down there.
John. Boban's the man. Boban against LeBron in the paint. There's no contest.
Well, speaking of Boban, he didn't play Monday night either, which is kind of
But it's
the whole
he's a
reason
treat.
why we wanted to go.
He's a treat.
He is.
Just to watch him before the game, during the game, he's messing. He has fun with the kids that are sitting in the stands. He's just the guy's happy all the time, no matter if he's playing or if he's bench or whatever. But you got that kind of talent sitting at the end of the bench. He needs to be traded and play somewhere. If Dallas, coach of the Mavericks, GM, who's the owner? Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
You're an ass, Mark Cuban. I'm telling you right now. He needs to be playing at least 13 minutes a game.
That's not too much to ask either. That's not. Too much
That's
to ask.
getting in at the end of each quarter or starting a quarter. Giving some guys a rest. But nobody's going inside if he's in the game. I'll guarantee it. He's 7'5", and he can reach so high that the brow can't even knock a ball out of his hand.
That's a true story. If you go on Google and search for Boban Marjanovic, Anthony Davis, you'll see him holding the basketball above his head, and Anthony Davis can't reach it.
He can't.
And we all know how big the brow is.
And if you watch highlights of Boban, you're going to be like, why is this guy on the bench? Well, he needs to be playing for somebody.
Very true.
If you want Porzingis to play and Luka in that, and this guy can definitely come in and make a difference. He's got great 36-minute average.
Well, and if Porzingis wants to shoot threes, he can play the power forward and run stretch four, and you can have Boban step in at the 5. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Obviously,
Can he play? He's not going to play like 8 minutes every quarter. He's just going to get tired going up and down the
He's
floor.
kind of a 3-4 minute a quarter kind of guy, but there's no reason why you can't swap him in and out. But we understand. I understand.
The guy plays 13 minutes the other night and got a double-double. Okay? 13 minutes, he got a double-double. So that just tells you the kind of talent the guy's, and he's wasting. He's not really wasting away. He's getting $3.5 million a year. So I would kind of sit there too and play with the kids in the stands.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
that sounds like a pretty sweet gig to me.
Yeah, but Mark Cuban, you're an idiot. So
all right,
put comments below.
We'll leave that there. If you have anything to say about it, like you said, let us know in the comments box below. We're going to talk about the games for Friday, February 7th. We have 8 games, it looks like, on the schedule. Starting off with the Toronto Raptors going to Indianapolis to take on the Pacers. Obviously, there's no spreads for these games now because this is
Injury list?
This is being recorded 48 hours in advance. But the Raptors right now have 3 or 4 guys injured. I'm not sure when they'll be back, but Powell is out. Hollis Jefferson is out. Brissett is out. Miller is out.
And Indiana's got everybody.
A lot of those guys are.
Indiana doesn't have any injuries to their.
T.J. Warren should be back by then.
Yeah.
I think they'll be at 100%. Oladipo's just going to get another game under the belt.
Indiana's at home.
Yeah.
I'll take Indiana.
I'll take the Raptors. I don't think I've ever bet against the Raptors because I won't. But
well, I'm just saying that unless some of those guys come, Siakam's not going to be able to do it all by himself.
No, I don't think he will either. But they're missing depth pieces. But if you have Siakam, Gasol, Freddie, Lowry, everybody's there. I think they'll come away with a win.
Yeah, I think so. You know what? I'm gonna take the Raptors.
You can't change your pick.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raptors.
Everybody tell him he can't change his pick. No, I'm just kidding. You can go ahead and change your pick. Okay, we'll go.
There's a gut. I just got a gut feeling. I just had a gut feeling that.
And you
it's
always trust the gut.
Trust the gut.
Next game on the list, the Portland Trailblazers going to Utah to take on Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and the Jazz. Who both are first-time All-Stars this year.
The Jazz are slipping a little bit. They've lost 4 in a row.
A little bit. They're still in the top 4 in the West right now.
They might play. Do they play tonight? They do.
A lot of teams play tonight. I think there's 10 games going on right as we speak, as we're recording.
They're playing in Utah?
Yes, they are.
Man, Portland got no help.
I'm going to take the Jazz.
Yeah, Baby Lillard ain't got any help. He's going to score.
Unless he goes off for 50.
He may score 50, but I still think the Jazz at home, I'm taking the Jazz.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jazz too. Sorry, John. I wish the best to your boys out there, but
hey, I like the Blazers. I like Baby Dillard, but Jazz at home.
We're gonna take Utah. Game number 3, Dallas going to Washington taking on the Wizards. Luka, I believe, is still injured.
The Bullets.
But yeah, the Washington Bullets, the Wizards. Yeah,
Politically correct, I guess.
I'm still gonna take the Mavericks, especially after watching what Porzingis
Let's
was
look
able
about
to do. Not for this game.
Yeah, the Bulls just don't have. I mean,
It's Bradley Beal and anyone else. That's pretty much the team they're working with. So
is Curry back?
for the Mavs,
Yeah.
I believe so. He didn't play Monday night. It says
Porzingis is hitting like that, though. I mean,
it says he's day to day, so in a couple days he could be good to go. But I'm going to bank on him not playing right now. But either way, I'm still taking Dallas.
Mavericks are hot.
We're both 3 for 3 here, taking the Mavericks there. Grizzlies going to Philadelphia, taking on the Sixers. The Grizzlies have been playing really well lately.
JV.
Morant and Valanciunas have really got it going.
They're trying to hold on to that spot.
Yep, holding on to that 8 seed right now. Philly is kind of slipping. We know Ben Simmons has been vocal about guys not putting in all their effort. We want to finish today's episode off by talking about the XFL, something that we have been waiting for over 2 years. Not that we don't like watching football, but it's getting monotonous. Let's be honest. With all the rule changes, Roger Goodell is let's face it, he's a terrible commissioner. And really,
it's going to be good. I think
we're looking for more football when football's not around, because we have to wait so long. You have to wait 6-7 months before another game is played, all the way in September. So this is something, like I said, we've been looking forward to, and I think Vince McMahon has learned from his past mistakes with the previous XFL.
Yeah, the other one was more for show than it was for
the
skill
actual,
or
like sport.
Yeah,
but definitely going to be awesome this time around. I'm really excited. A lot of people are talking about it. I know that you got guys at work that have been talking about it. They're excited. So let's go ahead and get into it. We got 4 games for this weekend, 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. We're going to go ahead and start off with the first game, which is the Seattle Dragons going to D.C. to take on the Defenders. The Seattle Dragons are actually underdogs in this game, which I'm surprised, because the Seattle Dragons seem like they have a really good team. Brandon Silvers is their quarterback. Anyone that watched the Alliance of American Football knows he actually played really well in that league before it folded. The DC Defenders favored by 6.5 points in this game. And this is something that I had a question of going into it was, how do they get the spreads? Because these are Vegas spreads. How do they get the spreads for these games when no one has played
they must
a game?
Send out guys to watch practice or something.
That's what I mean.
They know who they've got, who they picked up, and who they picked up from the NFL or CFL, or who they went and knocked on people's doors and said, "Hey, you want to come back and play football?
You want to come back?"
But I don't like DC, so I'll take Seattle.
You're going to take Seattle in this one? The only guy that I know from the Defenders is Cordell Jones, who's a former Ohio State quarterback from, I think he last time he played was 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember. But
I don't know.
Like you said, they go around trying to recruit these guys. You still play quarterback.
They had to find him somewhere. I mean, but
no, I think they did it the right way. We kid here, but okay. So you're going to go ahead and take the Dragons in this one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be that guy. I'm going to take the home team just because I haven't seen any of these guys play.
Yeah, this is a turkey shoot.
So
we haven't seen anybody play. No, there's no preseason games.
No.
They're just going right into it. So
I'm going to take the Defenders. He's going to take the Dragons. That game 1 starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 1 o'clock Central. Check it out, man. They're going to be playing these games on Fox and I believe ABC. So go ahead and
Fox for sure, I know.
Go ahead and make sure you check those out. Let's go ahead. Game 2 here. You got the LA Wildcats going to Houston, taking on the Roughnecks, who probably have the coolest looking
Houston
uniforms.
Roughnecks.
They got the coolest looking uniforms.
I'm taking Houston. I just like the name.
If you've seen,
because I don't know who's going to win.
If you've seen their logo, it's awfully similar to that of the Houston Oilers back in the day in the 80s and 90s.
Oh well, hell, they can't lose then.
It looks awesome. I really like the way that they handled that.
Houston for me.
And the name's just really cool. I know the LA Wildcats have a really good front four. I know they've been hyping that up and talking about how good their front four on the defensive side is.
We'll see.
But like you said, Houston, they just got a cool name. They've got great jerseys. They've got a great aura about the team, a great sense. I got a good feeling about them. I'm going to take the Roughnecks in this one too, favored by 4.5. Let's go ahead. Game 3. The Tampa Bay Vipers going to New York to take on the Guardians. Tampa Bay, being the visiting team, is actually favored by 3 in this game. I can't understand that because their head coach is Mark Trestman, who was the head coach of the Chicago Bears for 2 years and absolutely sucked. So
I'm taking Tampa.
I'm going to take the Guardians in this one. They have former Raiders quarterback Matt McGloin,
Oh boy.
the 33-year-old
Matt
walk-on
McGloin.
at Penn State, starter for 3 years. I really like him. He's a scrappy guy.
Go get him, Matt.
Played for the Raiders. I'm taking the Guardians. in this
Okay.
one. They also have
Taking Vipers.
former Bears wide receiver Tanner Gentry on the team. So looking forward to watching him play. Let's finish up with the last game. Probably the closest team, proximity-wise, to where we live, the St. Louis Battlehawks, going to Dallas to take on the Renegades. Which, I mean, he's a Cowboy fan. Was he not going to take
I'm
Dallas?
taking the Renegades.
Was he not going to take Dallas? Really cool name, really cool concept. It kind of looks like a bandit or like a cowboy with a bandana over his face.
They had something like that in the USFL in the 80s.
Yeah,
Team, I can't remember the name of the team, but
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Renegades favored by 7
Yeah.
points in this game. The Battlehawks had a really tough time trying to find a quarterback. They had 4 on the roster at one point trying to figure that out. Ended up settling on Ole Miss QB Teamu, who really was not good in college. Really not good in college. He had DK Metcalf and Hollywood Brown, and still didn't seem to win more than 9 games. So I think that I kind of have to go with Dallas in this one, as much as it pains me to do that. My buddy Chris, if you're watching, I know that
Kirk Cousins didn't play.
Kirk Cousins. How disrespectful! Put some respect on Kirk's name. Oh my goodness, Donovan. I'm sorry if you're watching. You had to see that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're both going to take Dallas in this one. Let us know in the comments below if you guys are excited for the XFL. Tell us who you're rooting for if you have a team, what players you're excited to see in this league, and also who you're taking this week.
Here, I'll tell you, let us know if you think it's worthwhile for us to go out and get XFL jerseys, because we'll do that. We try to wear something that's a little different every time we do a little podcast, but if you watch this weekend and then send in some comments on the latest video and let us know if you want us to go out and purchase any XFL gear.
Because if you do, we will do it. I got no problem buying a hat or a jersey or something like that. And honestly, I don't have a team at this point, so anybody in the comment section, if you have a favorite team, give me some reasons what team I should take, because he's a Renegades fan. So I mean, let's go ahead and
give us your predictions too. I mean, this is the first week of a new league. Put it in the comments.
Absolutely.
And tell your friends about us. We need subscribers, so tell your friends about us.
Yeah, if you like what we do. If you don't, we don't want you here. Go away. But if you like what we do, go
Get out of here.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your people you work with, tell that guy on the street corner that's waiting for the bus. It doesn't matter.
Hey, if he ain't got a home, he's still got a phone. He can still join. He can subscribe to the
If they've got a phone, they can watch.
That's right.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. All right. Seriously though, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. Like we said, let us know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.